Now we're having that session called Game Changers. This is looking at the traditional petroleum retailers and how they're engaging the NGV market. And while we have Chad Hollett coming up here to join me in just a few moments to share what they're doing, some very exciting stuff, just want to point out some interesting things that we've seen going on in the last just several years. We've always had the local gas distribution companies showing interest. Some have stayed in it, some left and are coming back and re-engaging. We have had for a number of years carrying the water of the industry in terms of station development, the retail CNG providers, the folks who have just gotten into that as their business. We've also had the natural gas E&P companies jumping in the last several years. We've seen some great efforts with the folks who are part of our panel this morning. We've even seen leasing companies. We have Ryder, which is not only putting trucks out there, but it's putting in stations at its locations. And we've even had some customers. And we've had customers before put in retail locations, but one I'm going to show you in just a second. It's interesting how they're actually extending beyond their core businesses and finding that the fueling part of their businesses can be an extension into retail fueling. And then today's topic, the traditional fuel retailers. Just look at a couple of these real quick. If you look at the customers that are out there doing this, we've always had transit agencies and others who have kind of done that little outside the fence addition on. But one of the ones I find very interesting, just as an example, is we've got Waste Management. Waste Management has been doing lots of great things with natural gas. They've got over 1,000 trucks, but if you're not aware of it already, they also have, I think, up to, maybe 9 now that have been developed that are stations where they've taken their economies of scale that they generate inside their fence for their time fueling of their own vehicles. And that creates great economies of scale for them to actually create a retail presence on the other side. And they've been co-developing, right now they've done a number of these with a company called Petroleum, but they've been doing this brand out there called Clean and Green. It's an extension of the Waste Management brand that's out there in terms of managing resources. So what you actually see here is trucks on one side giving the economies of scale, the low cost necessary per gallon, and then on the other side they are co-investing, co-developing with a company that handles all the retail transactions, has that nice canopy, the lighting, all the great things that are interactive with the customer, and they've kind of taken those two different pieces, but they've married them up, and this has been very successful. I think they have 9 of them out there right now. I don't know all the locations. I know we've got Pennsylvania, we've got Camden, New Jersey, Seattle. I think there's a couple that they've put in Texas. It's fascinating what they're doing there, and it's creating some great economies of scale. You look at what's going on in the truck stop market, right? We've already seen Pilot Flying J, Rich mentioned them this morning in terms of the exciting things they're doing with clean energy in terms of putting out an LNG infrastructure along our interstates. We know that they're looking at LCNG at some of those locations, but they're not the only ones that are doing that. We have some pictures of the Seville, Ohio. That was the first one they did with them. But we also have Love's. Love's is one of the large truck stop operators out there. They've been working with Chesapeake. They've been doing some great stuff to co-develop some locations, create a presence. They're very much engaged to this, and they see some great opportunity in terms of putting in not only their backyard, but putting in retail. And then you look at the announcement again that Rich mentioned a little earlier today. Travel Centers of America, the truck stop operator, has announced a deal with Shell where they're going to put in 200 fueling lanes at 100 locations, again, at interstates, major corridors. So we see lots of great things happening with these kinds of new players to the industry. And the last is C-stores. What a great extension of the brand and the market that's out there. You see a picture here of On-Q Express. I say has built 12 locations. I know that number's kind of a changing target, but I think 12 is right at this point. They're in the process developing even more, working again with Chesapeake in the Oklahoma and Arkansas area. They've made this a part of their retail locations, and you can go right online, and it's seamless for the consumers. And they've seen, according to some great information that Chesapeake has put out there in some presentations, they've seen month-to-month gains in terms of if they build it and put it in, the customers do come, and they're seeing a nice increase on a month-to-month basis. And there's a lot of other C-store chains that are very much looking at this. We've already seen announcements from Cumberland Farms as well as a number of other players that I think will be very active this coming week at National Associations of Convenience Stores. But the people, I think, in the C-store business who have really done this up, and a very exciting project, are the folks at Quick Trip. And here to tell you more about what they've been doing and for what they've won an award for today is Chad Hollett, Director of Transportation and Distribution for Quick Trip, as well as their affiliated division that handles all their transportation, convenience transportation.